TestNg today. So, how to design TestNg and what is TestNg basically. So, if we search here, it says TestNg is a testing framework inspired from JUnit and NUnit, but introducing some new functionalities that make it more powerful and easier to use. So it was made by Cedric Pierce and inspired by JUnit and NUnit. So it's a very useful framework. Okay. Yeah, so you can integrate it with Selenium, and you can write assertions in it, and how you can integrate TestNg with Selenium. We'll learn that, and uh, yeah. So it's a unit testing framework. It's also used by devs. A lot of developers use it. They use JUnit or TestNg. It's a Java unit testing framework. Okay, and automation engineers use it for automating uh, the applications and basically integrate with Selenium and run their tests. So the purpose of TestNg is to design test cases in a systematic way. It's open source and it's available in the form of jar files, as you can see over here. TestNg. Okay, so these are the jar files that are available. And for .NET, we use NUnit. For PHP, we use PUnit. Okay, but for this one, we are using JUnit. TestNg and JUnit are both Java unit testing frameworks. So benefits of it is it creates a nice report. You can create some really good HTML reports, and there are lots of annotations, as you can see here. Anything that starts with that the rate is an annotation. You can define priority as to which test will run first and which one would run later. Uh, you can also add in the dependencies. Okay, so one test would run after another test. Okay, so that we can do, and the grouping of test cases can also be done. It has this good feature called data provider, in which you can run multiple uh, single test with multiple sets of data, and it's very easy. Only we have to concentrate on the logic of our uh, automation code and not worry about these other things. And in any automation framework, TestNg can be used to automate our test cases, to write our test cases. TestNg is also called test-driven development. So it's good to know. You can use it to create your framework from scratch. All right. And so let's learn how to install TestNg first. So first let's go to TestNg. In the help you can find install new software, and in this you can write something like BEUST. Okay, and beust.com/eclipse. So and make sure that you're checking this, and then you can go next. Okay, whatever you add here, this would be enabled. Okay, https. Right. Okay, you can yeah, once you do this, okay, it would basically have all the data fetched. Okay, and it would basically download everything, and then you can click next. Make sure you're checking this. Okay, and right now we are not using it. Okay, so what I did was I just used the marketplace of Eclipse. Here you can write TestNg, and once you go here, okay, there's this marketplace. Okay, just search marketplace, market, Eclipse marketplace. Okay, here you can search for any like TestNg I had searched initially. So once you this gets enabled, you can search over here and install it. Okay, and once you have installed it, it would give you a prompt whether you should restart it. Once you restart it, it should get going, it should work, start working. Okay, TestNg, if I search and I press enter, and I have this, right? In my case it's installed, you can install it from here. Okay, so I'm just closing it for now. So okay, so okay, this can be closed. So what we have to now do is we need to install the TestNg libraries. Okay, so just go to your project. Here in my case it's this, my Selenium. I'll just go right click, build path, configure build path, and here I can write add library, and from here I can select TestNg. Okay, and press next and then finish. Okay, in my case it's already installed, so hence it's not an issue. After you've installed, this should be visible, these jar files to be visible. Then it means that we can get started with we can ensure that it's installed properly. Okay, so uh, so we are good to write test cases now for test case for TestNg. We can have a separate package also, but here I just started doing in this itself under this src main java. This is in itself I have added this, where is it, Google test. Okay, Google search. So yeah, one more thing is, once you create a class in this one, you don't need to create any main method. Alright, that's not required. And you can create a new package called com.text test. Okay, in my case it was Selenium. You can add something else also. So yeah, okay, so let's learn about the test annotations first, then we can look into other things. So uh, so here you can see that, for example, what would your test look like. You would do setup, you would launch browser, then you would enter URL, login, title test the title of the page, basically log out, delete all cookies, close browser, quit. Okay, so what we do is, while we are doing this setup, like delete all cookies, maximize the window, initialize the web driver, initialize the driver. So uh, this is what we do. Okay, so annotation is something which starts with @ and each annotation should be with a method. In this case you can see that this is the method that I have used. Okay, and this is before test method. And so the hierarchy goes like this, something like this, like first of all, before test would be thing would be picked, right, method would be picked. Then before test, what you want to execute, before class, what you want to execute. Okay, so and uh, before method execute, this annotation executes just before the um, actual test. So here with the test I can write @test. Okay, this is the test I want to do, so that's why. And this login needs to happen before this test, so hence. Okay, and after method is after you have completed your test, what needs to be done. So here I want to log out. So these three, right, you need to keep this in mind, these three will always execute together. Okay, so no matter how many tests you add, like this is for example test 1, right, you can add another test and it would run. I would show you that. Okay, so this is basically the hierarchy, and let me just run it once to show you like how it looks. So whenever you do run as, there would be this TestNg test written over here. So you can have like if your TestNg is configured properly, you would see this option. So I'll just run it. Okay, So we can see the results show this in this beautiful way where we are seeing the past result failed. We can show it to a manager how these things are looking, and okay. So here you can see the setup got executed first, which is before suite, and this is launch browser, which got before test. Then enter URL, it's before class. Okay, where is it? Okay, so just a second. Yeah. So okay. So then we have login, which is a fourth step. Before method, test got executed, login. Sorry, title test. You can see here test got executed and log out after method. You can see that these three got executed together, right? So yeah, this would happen all the time, that these would be executed together. I'll show you again. So then after that, delete all cookies, close browser, delete all cookies, close browser, and okay, good. After suite, we don't need it, so we'll remove it. Okay, let's keep it like that for now. So this is the case. Okay, so we saw the output. This is default test runs 1, failure 0, skips 0, and okay, this is after the suite has executed over here. And past fail we have already seen. Title test, it took 0.01 second. Failed test we don't have, and then we just had one test class count method. Okay, so this is the result of it. So what I wanted to show you was, for example, there's another test, right? Over here, if I add another test, button test, for example. Okay, so if I try to run this now, carefully observe what happens. So this is another test. Okay, so here we have two tests that got passed, and notice first there was setup, launch browser, enter URL, right? Enter URL was before class, then login was this, then button test, and then logout, right? These three got executed together. Now I had just added this button test, right? But you know, the whole thing got executed together, these three methods, these three, this one, and this one. And again, for another test, which is a title test, again these three things got executed together, right? So this is what I wanted to tell you. Here we have different, so if you want to classify these annotations, it would be three, which is precondition, test case, and post conditions. So anything that starts with before is a precondition annotation. Anything that starts with after is a post condition annotation. Okay, so mostly we use, in real world we use just this before method, right? So in real case scenario we use that. Before class also we use sometimes. Okay, so these are important ones. Before class and before this one, before class we can use, and before method we are using mostly this test initiation, after method, and after class. These are mostly used, and these are precondition. Okay, these are test annotations, and these are what, after post condition annotations. Okay, so this is what it is. uh, let's just do another test here, which is on just give you a Selenium, how we are integrating it with Selenium is, let's just, I just created another class over here, Google search, for example. Okay, not Google search. Okay, so in this case we have this setup. Okay, we first of all we write WebDriver. There's no main method here. Okay, public class Google test, that's it. And then public class setup, public void setup, public void title test. Okay, and then after method annotation we are using teardown we are using basically to quit the browser. Okay, and we have added all these annotations, precondition annotation, okay, test annotation, and post condition annotation. Okay, and let's try to run it once. I opened the browser and we see that the test run. Here is the result. The test passed, title test passed. We can see the green. Okay. Okay, so this is green means pass. And what if we add one more test to this? Okay, let's start by adding the test. Okay, just let it just be this. So if I run it, title button test. Okay, we're just checking, so we'll just run it. So in this case, 2 times browser would be launched, one for this, because I told you that before method would be executed, and there should ideally be two. Yeah, we saw that 2 browsers got executed. Okay, Google test and button test both got run. Okay, and both got closed. Yeah, I can try to run it again if you want. Okay, so I think it took just one default Selenium Google test button test. It did not take the title test. I'm wondering why it did not take. Okay, so there needs to be some checking here needed. We are running. Test runs 2, okay. Passes 2. Button tester, title test. Now we had 2. Okay, 2 got executed this time. So yeah, mostly this is the how we integrate. You must have got a good idea about how we're gonna do it. We can see the pass and fail items here. Probably if you put, let's try doing this. Let's try failing this somehow. You can show this report to your manager. Show them test how many tests have passed and how many tests have failed. So it will pick anything in any order, right? So see, it showed one failure. So we need to see how we are gonna do it. Okay, methods are 2, but it says test is 1. Okay, so yeah, we can do this. So let's just go through it. You can practice on your own at your end, and you can see, and we can also make sure that whenever you are doing it, uh, put like a test in if you're doing a test, just put in Google test or something over here. Okay, just to make sure that that we are uh, using the correct name. And here you can also, in the new, you can create a new package. Okay, and it should be something like com dot test. Okay, you can create, and then in this you can add this particular class, google test. Google test you can add here. Okay, this google test. Let's try to run it now. See, the package name is updated here, so something like that can be done. Okay, yeah, it passed. Okay, so I think we're done for this one, and